when I read up on the speakers and find that they've worked, 20 years in sales, they have so much experience with digital marketing. I also love that I read up on our next speaker, Johan Björtin, and find out that he started out as an archaeologist digging into the Bronze Age. He's also probably the only one of our speakers who has been taking a tram home, spårvagn, here in Gothenburg, with a complete Bronze Age skeleton in his knee. Here to talk more about something that he also has 15 years of experience of course, focusing what people are doing online and helping brands to better understand customer behavior. Johan Björtin.
Thank you so much. So many of you in here. It makes me a little bit nervous, I would say. But we're saying when you're feeling nervous in front of a large audience like this, you should pretend that everybody is naked, right? And with these X-ray glasses, I can tell that you look fucking awesome today. Okay, let's get going. I know that everyone wants to have lunch. We are running short of time, so I will speed this up a bit. And for those of you that think that I'm talking too fast, you can always watch it in slow motion on YouTube later on. The thing is, I will talk about online migration processes. When you're launching a new website, what could go wrong? And something that could go really wrong is, well, there is the clicker. That's a great thing. So the thing is, when we're launching new websites, things tend to go wrong. We tend to lose a lot of visibility online, on Google, for example, and other search engines. There are other ones as well. And today I will showcase a little bit what it is like, what could go wrong, why it's going wrong, and I will give you the complete blueprint of how to avoid a disaster. So up on the next slide, I will highlight a few things for you that is common mistakes. So now it works, great. What is a migration? Basically, HTTP to HTTPS, shifting to a new platform. That's something we are do a lot of times. We're upgrading our content, designing UX, for example, the look and feel. The URL structure is something that we tend to change every time when we launch a new website. The main navigation is very critical, internal links. All of these things that I'm showing here is not a migration. That is, when you're doing all of these things at once, that's a complete relaunch of a website, and then you should start to sweat a little bit, because then you will probably lose a lot of visibility online without a major plan. So how to spot these things? This is fairly easy. Just turn to Google Analytics the day after, or maybe a week after you've gone live with a new website, and you will see, wow, what the hell happened here? There's hardly no traffic from Google anymore. The new website was launched, and Google wasn't invited to the party. So, I guess we all recognize these things. It looks like the organic syrup. And I will give you a few stats here. The first position, about 1/3 of the clicks. The second one, 15%. And the third one, that's 9%. And just to speed it up a little bit, I can see that a lot of you are taking photos right now. Hold your horses, and if you're not sitting next to a horse, just hold on to yourself, because the next slide is even better. Just imagine being here at the 10th position with an uplift of 3,000% to the first place. And then you can also see from the first place to the second one, that's minus 53%. So for those of you that are running e-commerce websites and tend to lose visibility, tend to lose your positions, this actually affects your revenue. A little example, imagine that you have a very special keyword that you're trying to rank for. The search volume is 300,000. You're ranking at 3rd position right now, 9%. E-commerce conversion rate 2.5, and the average order value is 1,200 crowns. That's about 800,000 potentially. Very simplistic. On the first place then, same calculation, almost 3 million. And for those of you that are launching a new website and, okay, you're ending up here maybe, That's not even 100,000. Very simplistic. So what I'm doing is, when I'm helping clients to undergo a migration process, I'm using Systrix. It's one of the best SEO tools out there, I would say. It's, and we will look at something that is called visibility index. And what they are doing is that they are crawling Google every day, both mobile and desktop, for 1 million keywords in Swedish. And they're doing so also in 40 other languages. And the index is like the stock market index, but for SEOs. So there are 100,000 points shared, and the most visible websites out there, they will simply have a higher value. So here is an example of something that did go wrong, and I guess everyone can spot that something happened here. This is a website that have had approximately 2.25 over time, but this is just at the surface level. So if we drill down a little bit, what we can see here is that they shifted from HTTP to HTTPS, from an insecure to a secure protocol. And this is what I'm calling a wide migration window. Turbulent, yet maintained visibility. So it took them about 8 months to undergo this technical change. And this is migration. They changed one thing. For those of you that are into details, they also shifted from a secure to an insecure. That's not that common. I would say that this is when the SSL certificate expired, and no one even didn't know about it. But anyhow, later on, we have talked about it today, websites tend to undergo redesigns, and they decided to do so as well. The whole team was planning ahead. Everyone was very eager to launch the new website, and it should, of course, solve a lot of things for the clients. But what happened here, when they went live, is that someone forgotten to redirect all of the old pages. And after a few weeks, they lost more than 55% of the visibility, and it took them 8 months to recover. So all of the money spent to build a website that should solve a lot of problems, be better for the end customers. Actually, I mean, it takes some time to recover, and it's not a great start, really. So once again, Google wasn't invited. And this guy showed the way. But let's have a look at a successful one, and I'm very proud of this one. We don't have that much time, but I tend to ask, when did we undergo a migration? Both people are pointing at this little spot here, but actually it was right here. And now we're looking at the domain with a visibility of 525 points. So it's among the top 10 websites on organic search in Sweden. We went from HTTP to HTTPS. We changed all of the URL parameters for more than 500,000 pages to friendly ones. The website was really, really slow. We altered the front end. It was a complete relaunch of the website. And this is what I'm calling a very narrow migration window. So, did we do all of this the last week? No way. We were planning ahead like 6-7 months. We tested everything, because this is a website that relies on advertisement. They don't afford to lose their #1 positions. So you should set the right conditions for your expectations. If this is what your boss is expecting and you are delivering something like this, then yeah, you're pretty much fired, I guess. So now to the actual process here, and I will speed this up a little bit, but the thing is that everyone should remember is include SEO from start. It's really, really important. Maintain the visibility. You will keep your rankings, or at least you will try to keep your rankings. You will handle duplicate content, JavaScript rendering, SEO-friendly navigation. There's a lot of things that tend to go wrong, but if you plan ahead a little bit, at least you've tried to. We can't control Google, but at least we can try to give them what they need. So this is the process. 10 steps. So firstly, you should gather all of your links, crawl before you walk, and use tools like Google Search Console, use Wayback Machine if you don't have a list of your URLs, turn to Google Analytics, turn to Systrix, turn to any other tool you have, look at your site maps. Combine all of these into a gross list of URLs, and keep all of them. The second thing is, turn to the data. Turn to Systrix, for example, or for Search Console, and identify the search volume. how much traffic do you have? Which of these URLs are actually more important than other ones? It doesn't mean that you should exclude some of them. It just means that these are very, very critical for you. So this is an example from Systrix. This is the visibility index for a domain. We can, in real time, watch what is happening, and we can also have a look at certain keywords, the search volume, the competition, and such things. And this is just one of the tools, but I'm preferring to use this one. The third thing is, always work in a sandbox mode. We don't want to have the test environment indexed on Google. The fourth thing is that you should always 3-in-1 redirect all of the pages. And this is pretty much like in the physical world. When I'm moving from one apartment to another one, I need to tell post node where I'm living. And it's just the same thing online. Otherwise, we will end up on 404 pages. And yeah, a little commercial here. We are actually moving to a new office from Ekelundsgatan to Kyrkogatan in a couple of months. And I guess that there will be another party then. You're all invited. So the fifth thing, crawl your website and identify all of your internal links. Because when you're moving from one CMS platform to another one, I mean, it's very easy to copy-paste the link, and then these links are not working. So the recipe for this crumb pie is, yeah, it's really delicious, but it's sad if you end up on a page like that one. We should also break something that is called redirect chains. Google doesn't like when we are taking one page to another one to a third page, and suddenly they drop off because it's not, they don't want to spend the resources following links that doesn't lead to any page. So basically, redirect all of the pages to one, and they will be very happy about it. Tech SEO. I guess that most of you in here are running a website in a headless mode or as a single page application. It means that JavaScript is involved in the background. And this is what happens when Google tries to crawl your single page application. Firstly, they will reach out, and the spider or bot will not find that much, and they will leave. The second thing that happens is that we'll try to render the page. Google has said that they can do these things for some time now, and they have also said that they might reach out to these pages. If you have critical content that you want to have indexed pretty fast, then we should serve them the static one. And this is what happens when there is a single point of failure. Let's say that you have a JavaScript file that is corrupt, something is wrong, and then you're serving a rendered version that doesn't contain any content at all. And then you will definitely be de-indexed. So what we're talking about here is something called pre-rendering. And pre-rendering means that we are storing a static version of a page. We are serving it to Google. This is not cloaking for those of you that are familiar with that term 10 years ago. But we ensure that Google can always access the static one. And of course, 404 pages. There are pages that no longer makes any sense to have on the website, but how to determine if it's a page that you should keep or not. So the first thing is, if the page has decent rankings, has backlinks, or is part of the navigation, yes, you should keep it, especially if it's critical for sales and conversions. Then keep or create that page. On the other hand, if it's a page with no backlinks, if it's an orphan one, it could be a campaign page that has to be used once. It's not that important. Not important for conversions either. Well, then it's fine to serve a 404. Pages it doesn't always make a purpose anymore. Something that many people are doing, that is, I'm not recommending these things, they're redirecting these pages to the start page. And it's like saying that all of the pages in all of the books are stored at the entrance of a library. Doesn't make sense. The ninth thing is update your toolbox, of course, when you're going live. You want to ensure that the tracking is in place. If you change the URLs, then you might have to change a few of the filters you have in Google Analytics for goals and conversions and such things. And of course, the last thing is to monitor, optimize, and evaluate the process. So turn to Systrix, for example, and check out if your website is performing as good as it was before the migration. Turn to your data. And for those of you that want to have a free trial of Systrix and a very quick domain evaluation by me, we could meet up here in our booth afterwards. And for those of you that are very hungry, I'm sorry. We are running out of time here. Hopefully, I kept it like 50 minutes.
Oh, you did, and we always, you know what it's like at these conferences.
Yeah.
You have the very best, most interesting part before lunch, because look at everyone.
Look, I have
Perfect.
45
lunch.
seconds. Yeah.
Snyggt.